I'm Corvette Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, April the 13th, brought to you in part by Vitalix, the most concentrated feed at the lowest cost per head per day. Now available at MFA in Missouri, Wildcat Feeds in northern Kansas, and Ag Choice in southeastern Kansas. Get the blue tub. Go to Vitalix.com. Where are we going? We're right now in the throes of a big market rally in cattle, all classes of cattle, especially fat cattle that have already achieved all-time record highs, and each day through the week on business days achieving new record highs. And I fully expect these fat cattle to go to $2 a pound before they start heading back down, maybe beyond that. But we're really feeling good about where we're at. But every time you get comfortable where you're at, you get to thinking about where's this thing going. And you look to the future and we see that we have a lot of new plants going to be coming online here within the next 1 to 2 years probably. You know, we've got the one coming on in Amarillo, Texas. We got the one coming on in North Platte, Nebraska. We've got one coming on near St. Louis, Missouri. That's going to be more of a type of a plant that they have up in the northern or upper Midwest there. But we've got new plants coming on, and we don't have enough cattle right now to satisfy the plants that we already have, which are primarily from the big four. Of course, we have our regionals too that are scraping for cattle, but how is this all going to play out as we go forward? And a lot of people are saying that these new plants don't have a chance, that they're going to go broke and all this kind of things. I disagree. I think that these new plants will be successful whenever they come online. We're still going to be in short supplies when these new plants come on, but then it's going to be getting better for them as we will replenish our herds because of demand in the market. People will be keeping heifers back eventually. We'll be having more cattle and there'll be more plentiful supplies for them going down the road. But also these new plants already have all their supplies met for the most part. It's going to be the folks that's invested in those plants, the people that have put money up to get those plants being built, and they are already growing cattle for those plants for the most part, especially the ones I mentioned in Amarillo and North Platte. They're going to be program type cattle. They're going to be cattle that are fed just for those plants. And so they're already going to have their supplies met. And so that is no problem. And then they're going to try to pass along the premiums that they can get through selling the meat back to those producers. And both of those plants have people in place that are well versed in the industry. They've worked for the big four plants in their past. Some of them are in retirement or near retirement, but they've been through all this. They know how to do it. They know how to sell the meat. Especially in North Platte plant has already gotten some investment from Walmart, so they've got their demand met already, and they've got their buyer already for those program cattle that they're going to be slaughtering once they get online. So I think the new plants for the most part are going to be okay. Yes, the big four are going to play hardball with them. I mean, they're going to get gritty with them. They're going to play the games that they normally play, and they're going to get down and dirty with them, and more so on the meat than on the cattle. But I think the new plants are going to be okay. I think it's the big four plants, and they've got many of them. It doesn't hurt their feelings to shut the doors on some of these plants. And I think they will probably do that on some of these plants. We've already seen them back down to 4 days a week on some of these plants as we're getting into tight supplies of cattle. They don't have a big care about their workforce, about their customers. It's not going to hurt their feelings to shutter those plants and get things going more streamlined in their more efficient plants, and I expect them to fully do that as we go forward here through these tight supplies. And I think as we look off into the future, it's probably going to be the corporate type yards that are already in line with the big four. They have their sweetheart deals with their formula plans there. They are going to be probably filling most of the needs of the plants that are already in existence that are going to stay online. So probably going to be filling most of their needs, and then you're going to have the people that's branched off, that's went with the newer plants, filling their needs. We'll have some regionals picking around a little bit, but it's going to be really tight on the cattle that are in loose hands, which it has been that way for quite a while. But where are we going to find price discovery? And I think we're going to continue to see fewer and fewer negotiated sales. It's not like the new plants are going to be going out trying to buy cattle on the open market. That's not the way they're set up, and that's not their reason for getting into business. So they're not going to be doing that. The big four are probably going to back up their processing, and they're going to get their needs mostly filled from their corporate partners. So, where are they going to establish the base price to start these premiums and discounts that they like to do on their formula plans? Well, I think that the few individual feeders that are out there, the farmer feeders, the small feeders that are doing things on their own out there, they're going to have to find some kind of marketing help. And I still hope, I've been hoping for the last couple of years, but I think we still have a good chance to get the Cattle Price Discovery and Transparency Act done. If we get that done, that is going to establish minimum requirements for your bigger plants to participate in negotiated trade. Now, whether these newer plants, depending on how many they end up harvesting every day, whether they're going to fall under mandatory price reporting rules, if they're going to have to contribute to that or not, maybe not right off the bat. But the bigger plants will, of course. And like I've said before, they're probably already decided that they're going to get around that through negotiated grid sales. The onus is going to be on the people that are selling those fat cattle. Those few negotiated sellers that are left, the ones that are dragging us along now, that everybody else is hanging on to their coattails, those people are going to have to force negotiation on those negotiated grid sales if we get Cattle Price Discovery and Transparency Act. But even if we don't, they're going to have to align themselves in some type of a marketing plan. I feel like that the few people that are out there selling negotiated direct sales are going to have to get together in some way. They're either going to have to find a sale barn facility like Yankton has been doing. There's several fat cattle auctions up through the Midwest. I feel like we should add some down in the Southern Plains also, but a place for those smaller plants to come in, some of your regional type plants, some of those newer plants, and even the big four to come in and fill their real slight needs that they have that as they go through time to need a little bit to just finish off what they need. Well, they need to go to a sale barn. They're going to have to get onto an online fed cattle auction like the Fed Cattle Exchange through Central Stockyards, or they're going to have to join in with a cooperative marketing group like CBP in Canyon, Texas, or somebody like that, and kind of pool their cattle where they can get a little bit more leverage on the little bit of trade that there's going to be in the open market. But we're going to have price discovery somewhere, and I don't care if it's a new plant, existing plant, or what. But if you're going to give premiums from what? You've got to establish some kind of a market somewhere, and that's the whole reason for Cattle Price Discovery and Transparency Act is to force some type of a medium to where we can have some type of price discovery, and my favorite would be in a sale barn setting somewhere, or in any type of a place where we get haggling, negotiated trade. And of course, you guys know that I'm all about that, and I think we need that going forward. But it's going to be smaller and smaller after we get through these really, really tight supplies and we start building back up. And going forward from there, because we know that we get 2, maybe 3 years of good market, and then we're going to have 8 to 10 of struggle. But I think that's what's going to need to happen going forward. Other people have other views of how things are going to work out as we have these newer plants coming on. But that's my take on things, and we'll see what happens going forward. On Wednesday, I had the opportunity to travel down to Dimmitt, Texas, and take a look at the South Fork Dairy there south of Dimmitt, Texas, and take a look at the disaster that I talked about on our last visit there. And they had a huge explosion there. It was one of those completely contained, climate-controlled dairies where the cows that are being milked are always under roof there in a climate-controlled setting there, and it was a complete disaster. I tell you what, that is a huge, huge facility, like 2.1 million square feet under roof there, and it is a complete disaster. I went through there, and I will never forget, and I'm certain I will never see piles of dead cattle like I saw on Wednesday outside of that dairy near Dimmitt, Texas there. They have already dug huge trenches, ditches there. It would be like the longest and widest silage pit that you've ever seen, where they plan on burying those dead carcasses there. But it was a horrible, horrible sight to see. The smell was not pleasant, of course, because it's been plenty warm here the last couple of days in the Texas Panhandle. But that was really something to see there. And they say that there was 18,000 dead milk cows come out of that facility. And I really doubted it until I seen it. And likely that was a 20,000 head dairy there. And there was some cows left there, probably the dry cows that weren't in the barn, and we saw those on the out pens still at the bunk eating there. But these payloaders were running wide open in and outside of there, piling up the dead carcasses, cleaning out the rubble and the ash and everything, and it was a pitiful thing to see there. But we really feel fortunate that there was only one lady that was hurt in that, and we hear that she's doing better down in Lubbock at the burn unit down there, mostly from smoke inhalation, and I think that's what it was. It was a huge explosion, and it melted the roof on that building, and basically total disaster there, but probably more smoke than fire after that explosion happened. I want to tell you about a really stick-out sale that's going to happen here on Thursday. It's my friend Tucker Teague down around Hamlin, Texas there. He's going to be selling over 8,800 head of his steers right off the wheat that he's had in that country there. Those cattle will be green. They'll be all straightened up. Of course, been out there all winter. Be ready to perform in a feedlot for any of you guys that are looking for cattle to put on feed. But those cattle will be weighing in, from 7.5 to 900 pounds there. They're going to be selling on Superior's regular Thursday video, and they will be the premier sale for that video sale here, and probably selling around 9 o'clock in the morning here today on Thursday. So if you're in the need for those cattle, check those out. Talk about your board on Wednesday, excuse me. April live cattle futures finally responded up 197 at 174.27, above last week's weighted average in your 5-area feeding region, as they're hearing about the sales and the bids and what's going on early in the trade this week. June was up 90 cents at 164.85, still way back, and I still think there's a lot of opportunity there, but it is responding to the plus side. Your back month's up 37 cents to up 85 cents on your live cattle futures. Feeder cattle for April up just 12 cents at 202.22. And right in there tight with what your real-time index is. Your CME cash feeder cattle index is lagging way behind, but that's probably about where it needs to be, this close to maturation here. May feeder cattle up 75 cents at 208.57, up 132. Or actually your back months are up 132 to 180, so big gains on your feeder cattle, which seems commensurate as opposed to your cash market here. Talk about your grains. May corn up 5 cents at 6.56 a bushel. December new crop up 3 3/4 cents at 5.55 1/2. Actually down 3 3/4 cents. Beans for May up 7 at 15.04 1/4. November new crop beans down 6 1/2 at 13.07 3/4. Your fat cattle trade on a negotiated basis, direct out of your 5-area feeding region, started to take place on Wednesday, and it was a rampant, really special trade going on in the early stages there. The only confirmed sales we have through USDA's mandatory price reporting was in Iowa, 2,200 head confirmed sales on Wednesday from 180 to 181. Later in the day, I heard many rumors and from very reliable sources up to 182 and maybe even beyond that, maybe 184 bids from some regionals. It's going to be higher than that, guys. Your dress trade confirmed out of Iowa was 280 to 285. Heard some more rumors of, and from, like I said, from very reliable sources, and some of them that actually received them. The regionals were bidding 288 to 290 later in the day on Wednesday, and I'm sure there were many sales that way. So it's going to be several dollars higher than what we've already seen. Nebraska did not post any negotiated sales confirmed, and they're going to be getting similar type market of what Iowa was, and it's going to be dollars and dollars higher. Kansas, we didn't have any confirmed sales through mandatory price reporting. Voluntary reporting through USDA said that we had some 175 sales, and I had also heard that in the country that there was a bit of leaking, is what we called it, at 175, and a lot of other people priced higher than that. No confirmed sales out of Texas there, but dollars and dollars higher fat cattle market again this week, similar to last week and the week before, as we've just got really, really tight supplies of market-ready cattle and big demand from your packers. Brick and mortar fat cattle sale. Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota, sold their fat cattle from mostly 175 to 182 right there, selling Holstein fat steers from 137 to 140. But pretty brisk trade in your fat cattle markets. Box beef cutout values sharply higher on the choice and almost reaching $300 per hundred on your choice cutouts, with choice up $338 on Thursday or Wednesday afternoon at $298.48. Selects were down 23 cents at $281.81. Slaughter still lagging back, but starting to pick up a little bit. 364,000 harvested through the first 3 days of the week, down 2,000 from the previous week, down 10,000 from the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Livestock Risk Services are your LRP specialists. Talked to you many times about Dakota Moss and his team there in and around Oklahoma, but they can help you guys anywhere you're at. They're licensed and eligible to sell LRP policies in all your major cattle production states. If you're going to be turning cattle out as high as these prices are, as high as they are predicted for these cattle coming off grass, you need to get an LRP and get a hold of Livestock Risk Services. Talk about your feeder cattle auctions and your market there. Your real-time index on DV auction late in the day on Wednesday sitting at 203.99 based on an 800-pound steer, cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states. That was up 344. It was up a little more than that the previous day, but huge gains. And then you look at your CME cash feeder cattle index, which is figured the same way. It's just behind, sitting at 193.24. And I told you that they're not picking up a lot of these high market sale barns up in the northern plains. But it's got to get with it pretty big. We had a big sale in Bassett, Nebraska on Wednesday. They do cover that sale, so they will get that once it gets put in. But like I say, it's always running behind. But it's going to be making huge gains here within the next day or two. Talk about your big sales. Actually, I want to tell you about, remind you of your Punchy Pick of the Month contest, guys. We get them all the time. We love your Punchy Picks. We sort through them. I don't pick out the winners, which I'm glad that I don't, but it is a fun contest here, and you guys are vying for a big grand prize every month, coming from Fair Peace, with a whole case of Fair Peace, the topical product that you put on the cattle's nose and on their poll to calm them down. And it's quite a product, and we're getting a lot of testimonials about that. But also some cool swag from Beaver Feed in Beaver, Oklahoma, and of course Beaver County Stockyards, who's a good friend of the Feeder Flash right here. So send in your Punchy Picks to punchy@nationalbeefwire.com. Your big sales on Wednesday: OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma. DV auction broadcaster right there, 6,900 head for their 2-day sale. Feeders sold $4 to $9 higher than last week. Calves were $4 to $8 higher. Spots as much as $12 higher on calves. And the hot market there on your lighter weights was stocker heifers selling $10 to $20 higher in El Reno, Oklahoma, and they had a real smoky sale there. How about winter livestock in Dodge City, Kansas? 2,800 head there. Feeders selling $6 to $9 higher. Calves selling $10 to $20 higher. Similar type trend to what we saw in El Reno. Your Zoeta stick-out sale of the day was Bassett Livestock Auction. Hadn't had a sale there, a feeder sale, for quite a while there. But man, was it a stick-out sale. Goodness gracious. 6,400 head on offer. Look at this automated market report through Cattle Market Central. Look at your best tested weights. Almost any big string of cattle that sold there could have been an individual quote for the high quotes of the day. But I'm giving them to you as a whole at Bassett there, and these are weighted averages on all these cattle. 1,083 head of 6-weight steers in Bassett, average 660 pounds, with a weighted average price on all of them at $248.56. Wow. Another 1,083 head of 7-weight steers, average 754, weighted average price weighing over 7.5 on all those of $229.19. My goodness. 700 head of 8-weight steers in Bassett, averaged 854 pounds, with a weighted average price on all of them of $211.48. Wow. Look at the heifers. 637 head of 6-weight heifers, average 645. Weighted average price on the heifers, $223.06. May have been a few replacements in there, but the feeder heifer market is so high, it's really hard to differentiate. 924 head of 7-weight heifers, average 752 pounds. Weighted average price on all those 7-weight heifers of $200.22. 422 head of 8-weight heifers, averaged $832. Average price on those $194.93. Got to give you some individual quotes, and one that of a sale barn I've never heard of. Had a Feeder Flash gang member share this with me. But Battle Creek, Michigan, the sale barn in Battle Creek, Michigan, and they've got a big demand for slaughter cows and slaughter bulls up in that part of the country. They sold this fancy, high dressing, close to double muscled, I would say, slaughter bull there, weighed 2,065 pounds, sells for slaughter there at $199 a pound. Wow. How about some feeder cattle stick counts? How about Bloomfield, Iowa, Bloomfield Livestock Market? The schoolies sell 58 head of steers weighed 900 pounds smooth at 208. How about Stockman's Livestock Market in Yankton, South Dakota? Greg Ryken has got that sale really humming. He sells some big steers there. 200 head of them weighed 981 at 194.10. But the best quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday in your Macrison, no BS, top quote for the day, indeed come out of Bassett Livestock Auction. It was 128 steers, weighed 821 and bring 221. That's your feeder flash for Thursday.